Dragon Ball Z Fukkatsu no F, the movie, Frieza's Resurrection, Resurrection of F, whatever the fuck you want to call it. All I can say to you right now, overarching my thoughts right now, beautiful, just straight up beautiful, dude. That film was amazing to me. And while I do have a lot of blaring criticism for the film, like there are certain things I can't turn a blind eye to, and I have to point them out. We're going to talk about it as we go in, but ultimately, as a hardcore Dragon Ball fan, as somebody who grew up with this series, and this being, you know, what got me in to anime and manga in the first place. For those of you who know me, you know my love for Dragon Ball. You know it's one of my all-time favorites, right? As a hardcore Dragon Ball fan, this film is beyond entertaining. The comedy, the battles, everything about it, you're going to absolutely love it. And I will say this much before I dive into the film and dive into spoilers. If your problem with Battle of the Gods was a lack of action, okay? I'm not saying you guys are action tards if that was the case. Personally, I love Battle of Gods. I love the kind of more comical air about it, the throwback Dragon Ball nature to it before shit actually got going with the Super Saiyan God Goku versus Beerus, right? I loved it. But this film, above and beyond. I think I love it better than Battle of Gods, and I will say that the action, if that's what you were craving, you get it in spades, okay? So, like, one shit gets going, it's fucking epic, dude. That battle, like, especially, you know, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku versus Frieza. I don't like that name. I'm not going to be saying it anymore. We're going to talk about that, and even if it's credible or not. But anyway, I'm going to end that fucking battle versus Golden Frieza. Holy shit, dude. Next level. Like, it made the fight with Beerus and Goku look like a joke. It was better than that in terms of battle animation. I'm like, toy, this is what you can do when you actually have the budget and you actually go in and you're not lazy as shit on your weekly series. And plus, it's Dragon Ball, but the shit looked amazing. But anyway, that's all I can say for the spoiler-free section. Let's dive into it. This film, just such an amazing experience, seeing it in theaters, the fans. You had this weird kind of generational loop where you had, like, people in my generation, you know, parents that are a little bit older than me and their kids. Everybody just in all parts, you know, in all ages, just hype as fuck for this film. The theater was going crazy. So many laughs. The comedy was insane. People were getting hyped up on the action scenes and everything like that. And it was just such an amazing time. It just felt like when I went to see The Last in theaters as well, when 11 Arts brought it over. And I'm going to be seeing the Boruto movie as well, and that's going to be fucking hyped. I already guarantee. But I digress. Let's talk about Dragon Ball right now, okay? Let's get into the movie. First thing I have to say, I don't want to start off with any criticism. I just have to, we're going to be probably going character by character and just talking about different things randomly. This is not a formal review. It's just my thoughts, okay? Based motherfucking Jaco, okay? Anybody that tries to argue and say that Jaco was not best boy of this film, I just don't hear you, dude. That the man is amazing. Just like when he's like, yo, Bulma, can you get a picture with me and Lord Beerus, you know, cheese, yo, my boy. I'm just like, yo, Jaco is too real. He's like, no, I'm not doing that. Are you kidding me? Me get involved and stop that? That fucking craziness. I love the way Jaco was into, because if those of you who haven't read Jaco, you know, it was a one-volume series that Toriyama came up with, you know, I believe it was about 2 years ago now. You know, I've read all of it. I own the volume. You guys should definitely check it out. And the way I knew he was going to be brought in and integrated into the universe just from the OP of Super that I've been seeing recently. So to see him actually, you know, integrated into Dragon Ball like this and integrating the Galactic Patrol and making it all one universe, you know, Frieza's knowledge about them and everything like that, I was just hyped, but just having him there, dude, the comedy, and the man was going in. He had that slide with the ray gun, the fucking battle tactics, and the movements. I'm like, yo, Jaco is beast, okay? That's just one thing I have to throw out there as well, okay? Now, one thing I have to say, but my biggest problem with the film is the power levels and the power scaling, and how, you know, there's a lot of questionable things that take place. So I'm going to start there, kind of talk around that in terms of certain characters. And one thing I will say, in terms of Frieza and Golden Frieza, I'm just going to address this right now. I like the way it was explained. Do I think it was too quick of, you know, a turnaround before he came back and he was at that level to match Goku with Super Saiyan God powers? I don't think so. I think it was too quick in a sense. Like 6 months, that seems a bit fast. But ultimately, the explanation given that, you know, Frieza and a lot of people were always confused as to why Beerus was so shocked in Battle of the Gods that Goku was able to, that a Saiyan was able to take down Frieza, and why Frieza was the biggest thing when you have people like Cell and Boo lurking. I love as well in this film where Frieza mentions offhand, you know, my father always told me there were two people in the universe I should never fuck with, Majin Buu and Lord Beerus. I love that context as well, like just how they roped everything together with this and how Toriyama constructed the plot of this film. It was beautiful. But in terms of Frieza's power up, dude, I'm fine with it because you come to realize that Frieza never worked a day in his life for the power that he had, and he was already on Super Saiyan level, okay? Slightly weaker than a Super Saiyan, but whatever. What can you do? Okay? If he actually tried, this is the result. And I like that explanation of it and seeing that and really recognize that Frieza, if he had been going in this whole time, would have been the greatest threat the universe had ever seen, dude. So that shit's amazing. I love the explanation for it. I'm fine with it. I'm cool. Alright? That's it. Biggest problem with the film. There's two. There's two right now, and I'm going to point them out. I'm going to save one for later because one concerns my boy Vegeta and this retconning they did, which it was fine, but at the same time, it made sense, especially with the foreshadowing early on in the film. And, you know, ultimately it works for both Vegeta and Goku's character development, but it pissed me off. But the biggest thing that I'm salty about right now, Gohan, bro. What the fuck? Gohan got shafted, okay, and that's the biggest thing with the power scaling, the power levels, like Frieza base form, not even final form, and Gohan was Super Saiyan. We're not even getting into the discussion of the fact that he doesn't have his mystic powers anymore, that this was the man, that this is the boy that beat Cell, and the man that stood toe-to-toe with Super Buu. We're not even gonna get into any of that, right? Gohan is a Super Saiyan. We know he's been in times of peace and he's studying and he has a daughter now and he's chilling wearing a fucking weird-ass green jumpsuit. But he gets one-shotted by first form Frieza. That had me heated. I was like, this makes... I don't care how long Frieza had been training, because if you think about it this way, Goku was fighting Frieza final form in his normal form and he's besting the shit out of him, okay? So for Gohan as a Super Saiyan to get one-shotted, blew my mind. That, like, Piccolo is struggling against this fucking random lackey, like Sorbet's lackey? I'm like, are you kidding me? Piccolo was going up against 17 back in the day. Piccolo's stronger than a Super Saiyan. You're telling me he was having trouble with this man, who's supposedly on Zarbon's level? And then you have Master Roshi, which was one of the greatest parts of the film. I don't even care. I don't care if it doesn't make sense. The man was putting in work. The man was going in. He had that one-hand Kamehameha. I was like, yo, Roshi, the Eternal Hermit is out here like a monster. But it's just things like that. And I love the fact that Chatsu and Yamcha got left back, dude. I love the fact that Tien shows up and he's like, yo, I had to leave them back, though, because they're not strong enough to handle this. But at the same time, you have Master Roshi putting in work, the man whose power level is supposedly 135. I don't know that. I'm not aware that Master Roshi's gotten any stronger since the beginning of Dragon Ball Z. I'm not aware of that. So, unless he has, how he's going up against all of Frieza's goons and everything. But that was fine. I turned a blind eye. Once I came to accept that the power, you know, adherence to any sort of power levels or where people should be at was kind of tossed out the window with these sequences. Then I was just like, alright, it's fucking epic. Because I love the Master Roshi scenes. The comedy with my boy Master Roshi was amazing, dude. He was going in. He's just like, I love like how everybody, when Beerus and Whis show up, they're just like, yo, he's like, as long as you stay by me, you know, I'm going to protect the planet and protect myself because I love these desserts and this food, but I'm not getting involved in this fight. And everybody just kind of slinks over behind Beerus. I'm like, yeah, this is hilarious. But like Roshi's comedy, seeing him there, I just burst out laughing though. The fact that Yamcha and Chasu got left back, I was like, I mean, yeah, they're just not ready for this level. They can't handle it, though. There's no reason. Like, some people might be like, yo, I wanted to see all the Z fighters come together. Honestly, I'm fine that Chasu and Yamcha were there. I'm just like, alright, that's cool, right? Fucking Krillin in this fucking movie, dude. Oh my god, he got the clean shave for battle. I was just like, yo, classic Krillin was back. There were so many things about this movie that just gave me a nostalgia trip, but were so fresh at the same time. And seeing Krillin as a cop, which instantly I was thinking, I'm like, yo, Krillin looks kind of corny in this cop bike helmet, and he's got the uniform on and everything like that. Him trolling these robbers and everything, like teleporting in front of them while on the phone with Bulma was hilarious, right? But I just instantly thought, I was like, Gohan, man, like, even though he's a cop and it's kind of weird, like, this is so much better than the fucking Great Saiyaman, dude. Like, you should have just done something like this with your life instead. Just be a cop or something, bro. But I digress. Seeing that was hilarious. When he flew off to go to the battle, and 18 was just like, he's so cool. I was done. I was like, oh my god, this movie is hilarious. But one of my biggest complaints, like I said, was the Gohan getting one shot. I was just like, what the fuck is happening right now? One of my favorite characters in this series has been exposed gets wrecked like it's nothing, and now he's utter trash. I don't understand. They need to redeem Gohan. In Super, Toriyama needs to redeem Gohan. Whether he gets some power-ups, I don't care. Gohan needs some redemption. That's all I'm going to say about that. So, that's pretty much that. Let's get into talking about Goku and Vegeta. I know everybody wants to talk Goku, Vegeta, and Frieza in this movie. Okay, first thing I have to say, we got to start off with Frieza. Like, the very fact that this was the dub, and I just want to take a quick second to talk about the very fact that this was the dub. It just took me back to my youth, because I was brought up with Dragon Ball Z dub. Like, that's how I remember it. That's how I know it. I love the voice acting for this dub. It's like one of my favorite dubs in terms of all of dubs in anime, right? And in recently, I've been watching Dragon Ball Z exclusively subbed. Like, I watched Kai subbed, have never seen it dubbed. I watched Battle of the Gods subbed and dubbed. I watched both, but I'm watching Super, subbed. I'm really used to the Japanese voice actors at this point, but to get back to, the root of it, and I've seen the original Dragon Ball series subbed as well, but I will never watch Dragon Ball Z, the original series, subbed. It's just not happening. I need that Bruce Faulkner greatness. I need these voice actors, and to have them back, aside from that little opening bullshit they had at the beginning of the film, which I'll talk about at the end of this video, it was just amazing, right? And Frieza's voice actor, I forget the man's name right now, it's slipping my mind, I know it too, but whatever. He stole the show. Like, the Frieza comedy and just having one of the most iconic villains back, like nothing's changed. It's like the one-liners, the discussion, like the thing that got me the most, I can't remember every single line that I just die laughing at, but one of my favorite ones, dude, was just straight up when we find out that Frieza's been, in hell this whole time, and his hell was basically, he was strung up in this cocoon, like mad small, surrounded by stuffed animals, prancing around and whatnot, making all kinds of noise, and happy-go-lucky and whatnot, and he's just like, their only concern in life is when they were gonna get their next hug. I'm just like, yo, Frieza, my boy, like, just the comments about Saiyans being monkeys, just all that shit, having that back, having the Frieza swag was amazing. So I have to say that much. It was awesome. And I already discussed the power-up, and I like the way that the resolution of the fight, because here's the thing, the fight between Goku and Frieza, which, it was epic as fuck. The battle animation, everything about it was crazy, right? And they explain basically the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan and what that is. But they never really call it that. In terms of what it is, it seems as though Goku, having tasted Super Saiyan God mode once before, kind of has that residual energy in him, just like what happened at the end of the battle with Beerus, and he's able to kind of tap into it. So when he goes Super Saiyan, now it has this blue tint to it. Now it's like mixed with his God power. So it's not really like going into Super Saiyan God mode and then going Super Saiyan on top of that. It's more so a combination of both things and how it represents itself. So I found it weird that Vegeta was able to go to this form as well, since he had never been Super Saiyan God, unless it's happened, somewhere off camera. Maybe Super will go into more detail in their training and when he unlocked it or whatever, but I thought that was weird. But aside from that, I love that exposition. I love the fact that Frieza, ultimately his downfall was, after this intense training and achieving this new form, his first thought, instead of mastering it, was to come to Earth and whatnot, and go in. And as a result, he wasn't able to regulate the power, he wasn't able to be able to control it, and that's why he ultimately lost. Granted, from what it looked like, it was the same shit, like, so similar in terms of the progression. It brought me back to the battle on Namek, like, straight up how it started, the transformations, them going in, and the whole time, Goku is legit playing with Frieza. He's toying with him. He wants to test his new abilities. He wants to test Frieza's new abilities. It's the same shit that happened on Namek when he first went Super Saiyan. Trunks calls him out on it after the fact, when he's like, yo, you straight up toyed with the man. He gave him chance after chance. He waited for him to get to 100%, also he could test his abilities and go in against his opponent at full strength. And it's that same overconfidence that Goku displays here, and it's one of the reasons we all love Goku as a character, and it's something I really love about him, but Whis points it out in him that it's one of his most fatal flaws, and you see that through the progression of this film. Goku gets down by fucking Sorbet's beam shot, dude. A fucking lowly beam shot from the side. Even Frieza calls him out on this, because he's like, you're too cocky, you're too overconfident. Once again, trying to offer Frieza, go back, train some more, and we can have a rematch, trying to be lenient with the man, and ultimately it costs him the planet, right? Fucking Frieza, and I knew he was going to do it too, ever since we said, oh, I had to turn back time, that time when Beerus blew up the planet, and we got the information that he has the ability to turn back time. I knew it was going to happen in this film, so that's why I wasn't too pissed off when it happened, but here's why it annoyed me, okay? It's not that it happened that the Earth was destroyed, and they wrecked on the ship by just taking the time back, and going back to right before Frieza blew it up. That's not, what rubs another way. It's that, after the entirety of the movie, and the Goku vs. Frieza battle was epic as fuck, Vegeta finally gets to shine. He'd been shining the whole film, you know, he'd been going in training with Goku. He had lots of lines. The comedy was amazing. Like, when Beerus is just eating pizza, dude, and Vegeta's like, it's cheese! I just died. Like, the dub voice acting, just amazing, right? But when he finally transforms, and he's about to go in, Frieza's shooting beam after beam at the man, he's just walking through calmly, wrecks Frieza's shit, and he's about to deliver the final blow. Frieza goes on that sore loser shit. And it just pissed me off that ultimately when we came back, and yes, it develops Goku's character and that he had to kill Frieza in order to stop these events and to save the day finally, but it's just like, once again, Vegeta didn't get to fully shine. Like, he could have been the one to finish it, dude. Let Vegeta kill the person who put him through everything. And they took us back to that as well, you know, the person who ultimately, and I love how, like, under his breath, Beerus is like, yo, don't tell him that. We used to, like, I wonder what Vegeta would do if he actually found out that you ordered Planet Vegeta's destruction, and he's like, shh. I was just like, yo, that's hilarious, but, and I'm sure it'll get brought up at some point or another, but I digress, right? All of that history between them, why couldn't Vegeta finally be there? I know it's Goku's, you know, ultimate enemy and everything like that, but why couldn't Vegeta be the final one to finish him, dude? I just wanted my boy to shine hard, and it didn't get to happen, dude. I'm just like, that was just one of my biggest problems with it. I was like, why couldn't Vegeta be the one to finish it ultimately? But I wasn't salty about the fact that they turned back time. I was like, all right, I understand. At least they foreshadow it. I wasn't even salty about Goku falling to the beam shot by fucking sorbet, because I was like, are you kidding me? The strongest warrior, one of the strongest warriors in the universe, because we got Beerus now, so I can't really call him the strongest, but one of the strongest warriors in the universe is felled by a beam cannon shot. Are you fucking kidding me? But I was like, whatever. It showcases this weakness that he's been talking about confirmed, as well as, you know, Whis talking about Vegeta's weakness and how he's, you know, he overthinks things, he doesn't rely on instinct. And basically, one of the biggest setups with this film is that if Goku and Vegeta finally work together, even Whis says it, he's like, you might be a match for Beerus himself. And I think that's hinting at, you know, the events of Super after we get through the Fukkatsu no F arc once again, that potentially in the future, when we get into the Universes arc or whatever Toriyama was talking about, we'll see the return of, you know, Gogeta, and we'll see them fuse in Super, and see a Gogeta Super Saiyan God or something like that, and show it, because even Vegeta has a one-liner in the film where he's just like, oh, I remember when somebody mentions, like, yo, Goku says when we worked together before that one time, he's like, I'm never doing that again. He's like, he just never wants to share a body with the man ever again. So I'm wondering if that's set up for that, especially at the end of the movie. Like, Goku doesn't want to work with Vegeta because ultimately he wants to get by on his own strength and prove himself, and Vegeta's pride just won't let him accept help anyway, so you have that whole clash. But one thing that I found hilarious and also very fitting was Frieza trying to offer Vegeta a position. Like, he's like, you can come back, be my right hand, finish this trash. And the reason Vegeta gives, where he's just like, this rivalry is what pushes me to get better. Yes, it's valid, but let's be real, bro. I know you're putting that on service, but you got a wife and kids here now. You know you love him. Bulma was crying out to the man. You know he wasn't going to turn sides. It wasn't even a thing, dude. I knew he was about to turn around and go in on Frieza, right? And yeah, so ultimately, the movie was amazing. Having the dub, just the comedy that ensued because of the dub translation and everything like that, it's just so great. I still need to watch the sub, but I definitely will be watching the sub to, you know, compare. And plus, I'm in this whole Dragon Ball sub phase right now. But it just took me back, especially, like, Funimation, like, they had the fucking rock, like, hardcore tracks, like that one track that's playing when Frieza comes back, it's like, Frieza. I'm just like, yo, this shit is hype, dude. It took me back to, like, the old school Funimation dubs of the older movies, and how they'd have those, like, you know, it's not the Faulkner track that they had in the series, which was GOAT. That was amazing, but those heavy rock tracks that they had, you know, like in the Cooler movie and everything like that, I was just like, yo, this shit is hype, dude. So the dub really brought me back and gave me this kind of nostalgic vibe, and it was so much fun. Aside from, at the beginning of the film, they had this kind of, like, spot, kind of behind the scenes with the dub cast and everything like that, and they had this trivia with them, and they all failed miserably, and that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but ultimately, it was amazing to have all that happen. Things that I would have liked to see in the movie, but I think that because they weren't there, definitely made it feel like an old school Dragon Ball Z movie. Like, Goten and Trunks weren't there, and I love my boys, Goten and Trunks, and I want to see them, the shenanigans, them running around, but we didn't get to see them in this episode. No Boo, no Mr. Satan, none of the other side characters. I mean, like I said, I'm fine with Yamcha and Chaozu getting left back, that's all good. I believe we don't even see Chi-Chi in this movie. So, I mean, at least we got Bulma, who's looking younger than she did in Battle of the Gods, which is weird as fuck to me. The fact that she looks even younger than she did on her birthday in Battle of the Gods. But that's neither here nor there. The comedy with fucking Whis and Beerus was amazing, dude. Just them all fanboying over the food and whatnot. Whis is like, the only reason I brought back time and saved your planet is simply because I love your desserts. I'm just like, yo, this shit is hilarious. So a lot of crazy laugh out loud hilarious moments that the theater was just lighting up with. A lot of action-packed, just nostalgic moments with Goku versus Frieza. Vegeta finally getting some time to shine and everything like that. Granted, it was cut short. But the only problems I have with this film, like I said, were Vegeta getting shafted at the end there. And Gohan just being hurt. Like, what the fuck is up with the power scaling? The very fact that Master Roshi was going in like a monster, dude. Like, he was a fiend, dude. It was amazing. I don't know what was up with the power scaling, but ultimately, like, it just had so much depth to it and how it tied together with the different pieces of, you know, in Dragon Ball Z history and Dragon Ball history throughout, you know, Frieza connections, him searching for Trunks as well and not being able to find him, like future Trunks. Just a lot of different things. The shout out to King Cold, seeing Pilaf, Mai, and Shu, and I don't know why the fuck Shu, you know, wished for a million Zenny. Like, why didn't you wish for much more Zenny than that if you were going to wish for money, Shu? Like, what the fuck? But I digress. After seeing the Super episode with them coming back, it was just so nice to have them in this film again. But just a couple problems, but ultimately, base Jaco going in. Ultimately, the film was amazing. Goku versus Frieza once again was just epic as fuck. And I loved it, so I can't wait to watch it again. I may actually go back and go back to theaters while it's still airing this week and watch it again. We'll see, but I can't wait to watch it again. If I don't do that, I'm just going to watch the sub the next time. And that's pretty much it. Let me know your thoughts on the film if you've seen it, and I'm out. Peace.